Shrink Wrap Radio number 311, Synchronicity and the Interconnected Universe, with Jungian analyst Joseph Cambray.
It's Shrink Wrap Radio. All the psychology you need to know and just enough to make it dangerous. It's all in your head. And now here's your host, Dr. Dave.
My guest today is Jungian analyst Dr. Joseph Cambray, and we'll be discussing his very authoritative book on synchronicity. Joseph Cambray, Ph.D., is president of the International Association of Analytical Psychology. He's the former U.S. editor of the Journal of Analytical Psychology, and he is a faculty member at Harvard Medical School, Center for Psychoanalytic Studies at Massachusetts General Hospital, Psychiatry Department, and adjunct faculty at Pacifica Graduate Institute. His publications include the book of his Fay lectures, Synchronicity, Nature, and Psyche in an Interconnected Universe, and a co-edited book, Analytical Psychology, Contemporary Perspectives in Jungian Psychology, as well as numerous articles. Joe is a Jungian analyst with practices in Boston and Providence, Rhode Island. Now, here's the interview. Dr. Joseph Cambray, welcome to Shrink Wrap Radio.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm glad to get you because I know you're a globetrotter, and you sent me emails from Macau and I think Singapore, and
yeah.
Boy, you're just going all over the place. So it's so good to have you on the show. I've been very interested in synchronicity, both personally and professionally, and have recently done several interviews here on that topic. And it was only recently that I learned about you and your book. And with your book, I feel like at last I found the mother lode on synchronicity.
Well, thank you. Let's see if we can together join in a deeper understanding of it.
Yeah, and I should hasten to mention that the title of your book is Synchronicity, Nature and Psyche in an Interconnected Universe, which in a way tells the whole story. But before
yes.
But before we get into synchronicity, I'd be interested to know more about your background. I gather you were a scientist before becoming a Jungian analyst. Do I have that right?
Yes, that's correct. The first career, before I trained as a psychologist, I was a theoretical chemist.
That's amazing. That's surprising.
Well, actually, in the Jungian community, we tend to be a little bit older a community, and people often turn to Jungian analysis later in life, so that people are often coming with a first career in a completely different discipline.
Yes. And at what point in your life did you learn about Jung?
Well, I can remember, I think during my undergraduate years, I took some psychology classes, and there was just a little bit on his theory of the collective unconscious and so forth that I found intriguing. And later on, as I had a little bit of time to explore, I was interested in the history of science. And as a chemist, the